We're recording.
That's how long of a sigh I needed. I needed it. Deeply. Hi, welcome to Therapy Rebranded, where we're consistently inconsistent.
Ding.
We both look down because the screen's down and we're banging.
Yes.
But the camera's actually up.
We both have to look.
Although Adam did try to tell us that we should be looking down at the camera, although I don't think he knows our angles, so.
That's facts. Because I don't know if I like a down angle of me.
I never want a down angle ever in my life.
Ever in life?
Ever. If you're shorter than me and you don't do this on the picture, I don't want the picture.
Canceled. I don't even want to see it. How are you?
I was like, dang, too much banter. She's going to ask me first.
LOL, I caught on.
I know. I'm feeling like really exhausted and like blocked up. Like you were talking to me about this earlier, but I do feel similar. Like I can't tell. I actually can't tell if I'm like going through it and I'm not in touch with going through it, or if this is how it feels to be functional during crisis. Like I can't quite
I have the same
tell.
fucking thought.
Like I'm just kind of like, am I doing, because we always like to pretend that if we were doing better, that it would feel better. So I'm like, is this the best? I don't know if I can accept that this is the best I can feel while things are stressful.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I can. I've had that thought. Like, this is happy? This can't be it. This can't be it as high as it gets. Like, I've felt better. I've had to have felt better, but I don't even remember what it feels like to be doing better than this, I think.
Well, because you've been in the pits. It's been awful for you.
For a fucking minute.
Forever and a day. Literally forever and a day.
I'm just I feel like I'm not just like head above waters. Like now I'm like a little bit of my shoulders, but like it's about to like go down again if I keep this work up, bro.
You're doing good though. And when I came to your place today and it was cleaned for the first time in 6 months.
And cleaned by me.
And not like your place is ever dirty. But
it has been.
But it's not like, it wasn't picked up, it was cleaned.
Yeah.
You know how picked up is like, there's no dirty around. Clothes here. Like all the dishes are in the sink, but they're not done. But I came and it was like clean. And your place is white, so it's like angelic when it's clean.
It's just like serene. Like my mental health is like notches above.
Well, and you are like in this perfect position because you're just high enough that it's kind of, you can't really see well into your apartment street level, but you can see great, and there's like all windows, so it's just nice. Begging you to not be depressed.
Someday we'll do a room tour. Welcome to my cribs. Not.
You have a nice crib.
I do.
Not MTV crib worthy though.
Not MTV crib worthy, but maybe like.
So basically, we did this like shooting last time, and I fucked it up because something was wrong with my microphone, and I didn't notice. And I'm really salty about it because we like did a whole tribute to your grandpa.
You're so cute.
And we're not gonna redo it.
Yeah.
So I was just like pissed. I was just pissed.
You're so cute.
But anyways, I am feeling exhausted. I'm feeling off a little bit, and like just like hospital culture goes, there's like more changes. There's like a change every 6 months that like could impact my job or couldn't impact my job. Not in me losing my job, but just how I'll be required to show up.
How you like functioning.
And it's like having to coast through that and just be like, I'm gonna go with the flow no matter what. When you don't know kind of when you're gonna find out if it's a thing, is stressful. Like literally someone could be like, hey, don't worry about it, and then 2 weeks later it's completely different.
And you have to be worried about it.
And I have to be worried about it.
Have to be worried.
And actually, nobody said don't worry about it. So
they don't even bother.
No, they don't even bother.
They're just like, be worried, but we're also not going to give you more information.
Pretty much.
Which is like the worst feeling for your nervous system.
Yeah. So that's how I am. That's all I got. I don't have more.
Nothing else
to check in about?
Give me like, I'm going to do something. You're going to hate this.
Oh God. Okay.
Give me something. Like, give me a rose from your week.
Like a good thing?
Yeah.
Perfect. I can make an announcement.
Oh. Cute.
So we locked in, and we are going to be doing live podcasts Thursdays at 8 every other week. We'll let you know more on our start date. We're going to start promoting it online, but it's going to be lit. We're in a real studio. Our audio is going to be crisp. We're going to be responding to phone calls. It's going to be lit.
It's going to be really fun.
We have a producer.
We have a producer.
We have graphics.
We have graphics.
We're
We can,
redoing our logo.
Exactly. We're going to have like our own like setup, our own set. It's going to be lit.
It's going to be amazing. That's my glimmer from this week.
We're really excited. That is a glimmer.
It's lit.
That's lit.
And like we kind of just both didn't talk about it for like 2 months because there was so much stuff going on, and then we're like,
I was being probably avoidant and just like being like, I can't deal.
I wasn't even thinking about it really, to be honest.
Yeah,
it wasn't something that was like in the back of my mind. I just feel like August is a fuck around month. But when September came, I like felt the itch. Like I was like, oh no, I have to be productive. Oh no, school's starting. Like that feeling.
I literally said that to somebody today. And also, I feel like as winter comes up, it's kind of nice to have like a thing again.
It's very nice to have a thing again. It doesn't feel like it's cutting into your outside time or like your time you could be chilling. It's just kind of like...
It's just nice.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Although, have you decided how you're going to look under all that light? Like, are you going to try now that we're in like studio lighting, or are we still going to be bummy?
I think we're going to have to try.
I think we are. Don't out-try me.
No.
We're fighting.
No.
On site.
It's like slick bun and like black. And maybe some eye stuff.
Yeah, I need mascara if we're going to do that kind of light.
Oh, I need to get like...
Can't just rely on the brows.
I can't just be dirty anymore. I can't just like...
We're paying for our time. Let's be professional.
No, literally. I feel like that's how like most podcasts do though. They're like, oh, well, this is like... We should look like we didn't just like sit on our couch all day.
We should. We should look like we really put a lot of thought and effort, which we have.
Which we do.
Sporadically.
We're really locking down now though.
Grinding.
We're grinding.
Grinding it out. What's a glimmer that you have? What's something good that happened this week? Don't say cleaning and getting your place together. You don't get to get out that.
Was it though?
I don't.
Okay, I'll pick a different thing.
Fine, go ahead.
Also, yours wasn't really a glimmer either.
Why?
Because it's about our business.
Bitch, I made that happen.
You did.
I did that shit. What are you talking about? I've been coordinating, doing the things.
And you worked really hard.
I did. He tried to like offer us an earlier time. I was like, no. It was like right after work. I was like, no, we can't do that.
We need like some time to decompress, do our thing, and then
also
like,
if it's live, you want people to interact. Who wants to interact at 5:30?
Yeah, you want adults aren't like winding down till now. Even if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, like
no. Yeah. So, anyways,
my glimmer, my real glimmer is cleaning my bedroom.
Fine, and you got a TV.
I have a different one too. The other glimmer is.
Dun, dun,
Actually,
dun, dun.
you know what? Actually, my other glimmer was actually spending time with you and Patrice.
That was fun.
I had a really good time, and I felt really full after that, and like I just felt really good.
That was really fun.
So I had a really good time. So shout out to Patrice.
Shout out.
Yeah. So that was like it was like a nice way for me to like set off my week. I felt like I had like energy afterwards and stuff. So it was a nice way for me to start. Yeah.
Huzzah.
Huzzah! Oh my god, no, what's it called? That's a good show.
I just feel so heavy. Like my body just feels like it's carrying a weight. Like it's just like a heavy, just like I could take 80 deep breaths and I still wouldn't get a full breath.
Do you ever feel like there's something just like sitting here?
No, I feel like there's somebody around my chest like this.
Yeah.
Squeezing.
It's like constricted.
They're like
you can't get a full breath.
And I used to have a pit. Like I used to get a pit in my stomach. I don't get a pit anymore. I get this now. And I never used to get this. It's
What's
like
worse?
the trauma energy moved from my stomach to my chest. The stomach's worse.
Stomach is so much worse.
Stomach is worse because like you're also like after the bathroom. Like it's like there's so
Because
many
you feel like
conflicting feelings.
Take a poop and it feels like you have to
lay down,
crawl out of your body.
Yeah.
And like only sleeping helps it.
Yes. It's ass. So
Ass.
yeah, I just feel like I'm having a very unsatisfying week as a therapist, which is always shitty. I'm not like having sessions. Like I'm already walking into session with not enough energy, and then
For anybody who's not watching the video, I gave a really quizzical look, and that's why.
Sorry, yeah, and now we're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the big podcasting platforms will be on there. May or may not be putting our lives on there. I think we might. I don't know. Unsure. TBD. But I just like, usually when I muster up the strength to go to session. I leave feeling like I did something purposeful, and I just keep having sessions back to back that, like, I didn't get that, like, I did something. I didn't get that relief. I know I did something. Like, the thing with family therapy is that, or any kind of therapy, is you're really planting seeds. You don't, it's like lucky when you get to see the outcome of what you've done, especially when you're working with people short term.
Preach on it, sister.
And,
It's unsatisfying intermittently.
but I selfishly just needed a win. Like, I needed an immediate win. Like, I just selfishly needed that. And then I got it this morning. Like, I thought I, like, lost. I thought that what I did wasn't helpful. And then I literally got the immediate gratification this morning that it was helpful and it was impactful. And I still didn't have that, like,
That high.
No.
Why is this different?
I don't know. I think it, like, maybe my cup's so empty that I just straight up don't, it's not enough. Like, there's not enough things pouring into it that that was going to give me kind of like what I wanted or needed. And I think, like, honestly, what I need is rest. And I keep, like, fighting the urge to call in, like, literally every day.
Why
like,
are you
every
fighting
day.
the urge?
Because I'm taking a week off in, like, a couple weeks. Like, it just feels unnecessary. It feels... See, the thing is, like, my job isn't even that busy, but it doesn't mean I don't have to be on. Like, I still have to be on. And so...
You can't, like, fuck around.
I can't just, like, sleep all day. Like, the entire day. Like, I could take a nap. I could finesse, maybe. But I can't sleep all day. And I want to, like, not care about anything. Like, not have any stress. Just sleep all day. Maybe I'll... We're going to see Dave Chappelle on Saturday.
We're so excited.
So maybe, like, that during the day on Saturday, I'll just, like, sleep on and off intermittently. I'm not quite sure. But, yeah.
When you are, like, an adult, as an adult, and you're...
When I become an adult.
When you become an adult, one day when we're adults.
Or 50.
One day when we're real adults. It doesn't feel like it sometimes.
Never
But
feels like
it.
it.
Literally, I don't think anybody ever feels like it. I feel like people always feel younger
like
than
parents
I think
feel
they
like
are.
adults. I think parents
Yes.
lie to themselves a lot.
Yeah,
I think they feel like adults. I think they're like, and to be fair, I mean, you have to be pretty coordinated to, like, keep another
care of
person
yourself
alive
and another
and
person.
take care of them in a decent way. So,
Bro, I can't even imagine that level of stress, which brings me to, as an adult who works a full-time job, like, in a career, a hard job.
right.
You have to take care of yourself every day, and you're taking care of your mental well-being. When you don't have the energy, like, what gets you to do the next thing? What gets you to not cancel? I'm not even asking for, like, a helping for other people, but, like, how do you pull yourself up?
Shame.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I was kidding. You, that hit for you. I was totally kidding. We've talked about this. I bribed myself.
We have.
I bribed myself. And I bribed myself all day today. All day today. And it was successful. Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. That's what I do. But you can only go so long. Like, there's a certain point where you're just, like, being tired wins. And then, like, also just trying to, like, actually rest. The issue is, and we were talking about this earlier, the issue is that once you actually, like, are still, like, right before you rest, whatever feeling you've been running from, it's just, like, there.
Yeah.
It's just there.
I know. We were talking about this earlier, and I had said, lately I've been feeling a lot of anxiousness and anxiety when I go to bed or before I take a nap, and, like, physical anxiety or, like, spinning thoughts, things like that, a lot of ruminating. And it drives me nuts. I feel like, I'm not, it's kind of like that Solange song.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
What is that? Cranes in the Sky?
Oh.
Like, I tried to smoke it away. That's me trying to smoke it away. Can't, like, what do you say? You can't. I tried to fuck it away or something and drink it away. And it's like, you can't. Like, you can't do anything to make any of it go away. It is literally there. I feel like I am a person who waits until the last minute to go to bed.
Like, you gotta be at the edge of passing out.
The edge of passing out, and just like, okay, like, I have to be, like, mad at myself. Like, bitch, like, grow up, go to bed. That's usually what I say to myself.
Because you're dreading, like, having to just be by yourself for a
Yes.
while, just, like, sit in it.
Yes. Like, the time that I have to turn off the TV in my living room, turn off all the
Not
lights.
turn off the TV.
Yes, turn off the TV.
Like
in
your
the
mom
living
said
room.
it's bedtime.
Yes.
This was your last show. You don't get another one.
That's what it feels like. I'm like, okay, bitch, you get 30 more minutes. I'm looking at the clock.
Oh, you really are shaving yourself into bed.
Yes, I'm like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. You have to be in bed by 11:30. You get 30 more minutes.
You get 30 more minutes to dread going to bed?
Yes.
Oh, it makes me feel sick just
No, it feels
thinking about
awful.
it.
And then I have to, the worst part is getting from sitting on the couch to like in bed. Like I try and, because if I'm too tired, I'm not going to do my whole nighttime routine. So I'm going straight to the bed.
So what?
Which
You have
is-
to do your nighttime routine?
Which is fine, except for I feel like sometimes I shame myself that like, well, I didn't do the routine, so I'm just going to sleep on the couch.
Oh, I can't. What is this sleep? Her and Patrice this weekend were like rallying around sleeping on the couch is so upsetting. I'm missing it.
It just feels like it is nothing. You're right. There is nothing morally or like physically or anything wrong with sleeping on your couch. I got a couch to sleep on it. I'm like, I have this couch. Like,
Back when you're in a shitty relationship.
Literally, I needed something. I needed like a bright spot. I waited for this couch for 6 months.
I know you did. It just kept delaying because it was that COVID like shipping packaging
It was
issue.
my saving grace.
Did you ever sleep on the couch when you guys got in a fight? Or you
No.
always sleep in the bed?
I always sleep in the bed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you like trying to cuddle up? Like,
No.
forgive me.
Not if it's bad.
No.
He would though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take it
Yes.
every time?
No.
Would you ever wake up and change your mind? Like,
Yes.
actually, I should have dubbed you.
Yes.
Actually, I should have said
Wake up
blah, blah,
mad
blah.
every time. It's shutting everything off, making everything dark, and then deciding if I'm going to turn on the TV in my room. It's the
Making
worst
everything
part.
dark?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
It's just like, it's like the end of the day.
Is this a visual that you have of like what it means to be an adult at night? Like, is this like from
No,
a
this is how I
movie,
feel.
or this is like, why do you feel like this routine is important? Like, I get the
Yeah.
bedtime routine of like you want to be clean and like content before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't get the like.
It's like an end to my day. And
But I'm saying if you hate it, just leave the TV on.
but I feel like I won't get the right sleep unless I'm like really like,
Yeah.
in sleep mode. Like I feel like I don't
Yeah.
sleep as well if I fall asleep with the TV and all the lights on and stuff.
So you're putting yourself to bed.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
Yes. I'm like tucking myself in.
Yes.
Like I literally like.
Do you
pull-
ever feel more single than when you tuck yourself in?
No, there's nothing worse. Literally like deciding like, oh, it doesn't matter if I sleep on my right or left side or on my back because nobody's fucking here. It's just me.
I hate having that fight. No, roll this way. No, roll this way.
I love that fight because I always win.
Do you? What do you prefer?
Up under you.
Any way possible.
Anyway, possible.
In your skin.
In your skin. Like legs. Like, when you do that like
Yeah.
shit with like when you're like this.
Yeah.
Throwing up gang signs with each other's feet. That's my fave. I would do that if we got in a fight. Like,
Hi.
are we okay?
No.
No.
He never kicked your foot away. For everybody listening,
No,
Rachel's eyes said yes.
Petty. Yes. Rachel's eyes gave yes.
Rachel's eyes said that's absolutely happened more than once.
Absolutely. Her eyes went ding.
Next, if he would have kicked me, I would have pretended like his big toe or the crust on his foot cut me. I'd be like, ow. Ow. I'm so serious.
You know what's crazy as a therapist?
Be embarrassed.
Back to therapy just for 1 second. I be thinking that shit in session. When somebody says something about like their man or something, and you're like, don't go into friend level, don't go into friend level, like don't say the petty thing. And once in a while, if I have really good rapport with a client and I know I can get away with a joke in the middle of like some sad shit, I'll say some shit like that.
I love doing that.
And they love it. They eat it up. They're like, "Oh, you're real. Like you're really right." It's like
Yeah.
it's like rapport building.
You're my actual friend. You love me.
You love me. I had a client blow me a kiss.
I'm dead. Was it a girl or a guy?
A woman,
Okay, thank God.
like a girl. She's kind of like a fairy, kind of like whimsical.
Just
Yes. She's like, ciao. I said ciao. Walking out of my office. Like, it was like a beauty appointment.
She loves you.
Loves me.
You're her bestie.
She's going somewhere for a couple months, and
Oh, so she was like, this is our formal goodbye.
but she was like, so can I schedule with you when I'm out of town? And I was like, no, I can't see you when you're out of town. And she hadn't really told me that she was like leaving until like last session.
People love to drop bombs like that.
Bro.
By the way.
And I held, and she was like surprised, I think, that I was like, yeah, I can't see you.
You're on your
And she, like, the whole
own.
vibe of the session changed.
Well, because she panicked. It's immediate internal panic.
No, like, I saw her, like, crawl, and I named it. I was like, kind of crawling out of your body over there. She was like, yeah, like, I just feel really worried all of a sudden about spending this much time away, and, you know, just about, like, my stability, and blah, 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 blah. I was like, 2 seconds ago, you were really excited. Same coping skills that you had before, you still have. You're just taking me out of the equation for a couple weeks.
Not a couple weeks, like 12 weeks. And also, this is what I will say.
It's true.
I feel like, okay, let me ask it in a question.
Because she's not a consistent client.
But she always has you if she needs you. Let me ask you a question. How long do you think an adult can be out of their routine before it starts to fuck with their mental health?
Not that long, which I did talk about with her. I was like, you're gonna want to be like in the mix and like do all these things with these people that you're gonna go to work with and things. And I want you to remember how you felt a couple weeks ago when you felt really depleted and like taking time for yourself and like drawing back, and that you don't need to be like mixing in the mix all the time just because you're like an artist and in this artist world. Like, you can choose to step back, and that will like further what you're doing there anyways.
Does that hurt their career though when they don't network?
That's what she's struggling with, and that's what we talk a lot about is like,
You're giving terrible career advice.
I know. Well, I said that. I was like, this is not the way to further your artistic career, but I also see you really struggling to do artistic things because you're so depleted.
Yeah, you have to put creating first, I guess.
Exactly.
I guess.
And I told her, like, you know, it doesn't mean forever. It doesn't mean always, but do you have to go to every event? I know it feels like you do. But you're telling me that you don't want to, you don't like it, you don't have the social battery for it, you're resenting people, like, it's too much. Take one night off every other week or something. Yeah.
So we can go back to your client if you want to, but
No, I don't want to. I'm good.
during the break I decided I'm going to be honest. So because I've been like stressed out and I don't know what's been going on internally, I've been fantasizing a lot. I spent the last like couple days thinking about relationships that I love that person and they didn't love me back. And not in a way of like, I guess fantasizing sounds like it's positive, it's not positive, it's negative. Like I keep replaying, like, I think the two relationships I was in where I felt like, well, actually one of them I was never with them. One I was with them, where I felt like they loved me more, or I loved them more. Sorry, I loved them more. And like been really just diving into this concept of like unrequited love, because I've realized that I feel emotional when I like hear people sing about it. I feel emotional when I watch TV shows and movies on it. I replay scenarios in my head, like when I'm doing badly, I don't know why about them. And like, there's scenarios that like lack logic. They don't have any logic. They're not, like, I was telling my therapist this today. Adult me can talk back to all of those thoughts and provide like ample evidence why, like, maybe it wasn't even unrequited love. Maybe, you know, all of these things were going on. Why wouldn't it be beneficial to like have, you know, done things differently? Like why, you know,
You're able to parse it out.
I can parse it out and I like intellectually understand, and it's not in like a way of like, oh, I miss this person, or I miss these people, or I want these people. It's just like this. It feels like an internal like lashing or something. Like, well, why am I focusing on this kind
You're
of
like
thing?
doing it to yourself.
I'm doing it to myself, and I know that it has nothing to do with the people, because neither of the people were like extraordinary in any way. And actually neither of them, like, one of them I had a very significant friendship with in high school, but like I still, it's not situations where there was like this deep intensity or like this deep like emotional intimacy that we had that I blew or something.
Right.
Like the friendship that I had with that person was like No, we talked often, and it was like, I thought it was deep, but it was like high school deep. It wasn't
Right.
real life deep.
Right.
You know, when you think back on high school and you can put everything into perspective, like you think about it and it doesn't even like hit really emotionally because it's like irrelevant. Like the friendships I had, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
If you didn't make it past high school, you're irrelevant. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
so that's what I've really been doing, and just being really curious about why.
Has that been
I'm
like
like-
just for the last week?
Like not even the last week, like the last couple days. It's just like transitioned. I think I was helping other people in crisis for like a couple weeks, and then I've transitioned into like, I asked that question about routines, adult routines, because I have people in my life who go into crisis, and I want to help when people are in crisis. Like, I love them. I want to show up for you. I care about you. And as fucked up as this is, like, if your crisis lasts long enough, like, I have to go back to my routine. Like, I can still be a good friend to you. I can talk to you more than we normally talk to each other. We can hang out weekly, which is more than I do with most of my friends. Like, all the things. And, like, I can't show up for you every day anymore. Like, I just can't, right? And so a lot of this feels like compounded, like, just how I've been feeling is like compounded stress on top of just feeling like I don't even know, a little bit of guilt for not being able to show up in the same way consistently, and also just feeling.
You feel guilty about not being able to show up consistently?
Yeah, I do, because I just don't like being human. It's not even about, like, I don't think that I owe those people more than what I'm doing. It just bothers me that I just, like, have to stop, not just because it's what I want to do, but it's because what I need to do. It's like I physically hit a wall, and that's just uncomfortable for me. I don't know why, but that in itself is uncomfortable. That, like, I put in all that work, and now I'm in, like, this space where, like, my head's mashed up, and, like, I'm exhausted, and, like, I feel just depleted, like I can't show up, and I feel like I didn't push myself this weekend. Like, I think something's fucking with me that I, like, gave myself the weekend to, quote, like, recover, and it wasn't enough recovery.
Yeah.
And so
You're, like, beating up on yourself.
well, yeah, because I think I'm falling back into my own. I actually don't feel like this, and that's where I feel so torn. Like, it sounds so wild. Like, I have, like, a split personality, and I don't mean it like that, but it's like, I have the thought reel going that I had before therapy, and it's louder than it's been in a long time. And then I have the thought reel going that is post-therapy. And I'm, like, expending all of my energy talking to, like, younger me internally. Like, talking myself off the ledge. And I think it's because my brain is trying to figure out what I did wrong to feel like this. Because that's old me. I'm going to look for everything I've ever done wrong or anything I did wrong. You know, I had too many beers this weekend, or I did whatever the thing is.
I must have done something to throw
I must have
myself
done
off.
something. And so, like, because I can't even find anything I did, I'm, like, going farther back, I think.
Yeah. You're trying to pull.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull.
Does that feel helpful, or does that feel like it's making
It's unhelpful.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so much energy, and I'm like intentionally trying to distance myself from it. Like, not me going back to, like, the fantasizing and imagining I did at 21. Like, I don't want to deal with that right now. Like, I worked through that. I've had a lot more significant relationships than those relationships. And it's just, like, I think back to, like...
You're also, I feel like, why am I having this again? Like, why are these
Like,
things
why is
coming?
this slipping out? Like, what's coming? What I thought I worked through this.
Yeah.
I thought I worked through this. But it's just on my hard drive. And I just feel like I'm... Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Does it feel mostly connected to, like, romantic relationships?
The lashing is with romantic relationships, yes. And part of the lashing is that both of those relationships, I keep calling them relationships, they weren't both relationships, but it's just easier to articulate.
Yeah.
Because they both felt
relationship-y.
Both of those relationships, the male in the relationship was okay with being friends. Was like, I want to be friends. Yes, there's chemistry here, but, like, I'm okay with us just, like, staying how we are so that there's, like, longevity in our relationship. And I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't do it, and it wasn't, I don't think it was because, like, I don't think it was because of our chemistry was so strong. I think it's that I didn't know how to do intimacy that was non-sexual. And so, like, to me, that just felt like the natural next step. Like, I have an intimate emotional connection with a man.
The next
Why
step would be
wouldn't we
physical.
date? Why wouldn't it be physical? And I think romanticizing what it could be if I had that level of intimacy and then added dating on top of it.
That's all your adult brain, though.
And I'm actually not judging old me.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like literally having to talk, like I'm having to talk back to
You're walking yourself through it.
walking myself through it and just like,
Are you not? Does it also feel funny? Because I know you said, like, often you feel like you get there, whatever there is, faster than other people. Does it feel different because you're like, why am I, like, having to slow myself down for this?
no, it just feels like disappointing that I'm having to deal with it and just feels frustrating. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I'm feeling tired. And I was thinking about this because I don't see myself as somebody who struggles to set boundaries. Like, I really do see myself as somebody who can, like, articulate what I want and need.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that I suck at holding boundaries. I, like, tell somebody what I want and need from them. And I, like, pray to fucking God that they're going to do it. Like, I do not want to have to reinforce the boundary. I don't want to have to say it multiple times. I don't want to have to show it. I don't want to have to re-say it because they didn't do it right. Like,
nice
that's
just
the
to be able
part
to
I
say
hate. That's the part I hate. That's the part that I'm avoiding. That's the energy that it takes to hold the boundary is exhausting. And a lot of times the boundaries I'm setting with people are like emotional boundaries, and they don't even fully kind of understand conceptually the boundary I'm setting. Because it's like, I feel like when you set emotional boundaries, not even like that I'm wrong and they don't understand. It's like it's trial and error. It's work. Like you're not going to set a.
I'm having to hold it. It's not like I'm
You're
just
holding it and you're like figuring out what it means. Like when you're
Constantly.
saying like for instance, setting the boundary of like I don't, I want you to show up for me too emotionally, or like I want you to dump on me less. Like, let's say that you were like talking to a friend about how you feel like the majority of the times you guys hang out and talk completely about them. Like, if that person wasn't self-aware of that, that's going to take them a lot of trial and error to figure that out. Like, they are going to have to do a lot of work to navigate that. And then you kind of have to ride the roller coaster with them. Like, I'm starting to figure out that that's the part of the boundary that sucks for me. I know you're still at the part where you don't want to say the boundary.
I'm like way behind.
You feel like you're behind?
Yeah.
Why?
I struggle with it. It's like it's like a struggle. I feel like it's like a thing that like physically tugs at me, people pleasing and setting boundaries. And I've gotten better. But the better, like that's like, this is me better. And that's like the part that I think eats at me is like, this is me with some work, which I feel it like empowers me to be like, okay, like keep going. And also I'm like, I feel like I'm like digging myself out of a hole, kind of like I'm dealing from a negative for some reason. And I don't know if that's just because me beating up on myself or if that's real, but if I look at like the track record of like my life and like the relationships, like there's a lot of like that behavior like all the time, all over those relationships. And so it feels like endemic to like who I am, and I don't like that.
Do you feel like you're behind because like literally you don't verbalize things? Or do you think you're behind maybe because you don't know when to set a boundary or how to set the boundary? Like what is the like next step that you feel like you're not doing?
I think it's both. I don't think I know. I think I know my feelings. I can tell somebody how I'm feeling, but I don't know how to tell them what I need. And I don't know how to tell somebody, and that's and like that's not just romantic, that's for my parents, that's for anything. It's like friends and everybody. I think I struggle with like naming what I'm needing. Like I could tell you what I'm feeling and I could identify all that and like what's happening for me right now, but I don't know how to like put that into action. I don't really know how to put that into like, this is what I need from you. And I have no scale for like what is a good ask or like what is a not good ask or like what is too much or how to negotiate that. Like I don't know how to present something to somebody without feeling like, ooh, I need to walk that back.
I was just thinking when you said that, like, as you were talking, you kind of got there on your own, but the thought process that I was having, it sounds like you're describing setting a boundary or not knowing if it's worth setting a boundary, or you're overreacting. Like, you don't trust your gut yet about what
Very much.
boundaries you deserve to set or what
Yes.
are appropriate to set.
Because yes, exactly that. And I think I've been in I remember myself. I've said it to you, I'm sure. Like, I'm happy when other people are happy. I feel settled when other people are settled. And I think that internal feeling is still true for me.
Yeah.
But I'm logically trying to like flip that and trying not to, and actively trying to be like, okay, hold on. Like, that's actually not what I want.
Yeah.
But that is like my gut feeling almost all the time.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, we need to like manage this situation a little bit. And I think I've been on autopilot for so long that like I'm still like, okay, like, no, let's like not do that. Like, and then so it feels jerky right now. Like, and I think I'm having it feels like I'm going back on my word a lot because I'm having to walk things back, because I'm having to be like, okay, I said this, but to be honest, it's not really what I meant. Or to be honest, it's not really what I should have said. Or
Like, I agreed, or like I allowed.
I agreed or allowed things, or, I should have thought about this more, but I actually don't have the capacity to do this, or something like that.
You are very quick to a yes before you think about if
Very
you can
quick
do
to
the
yes,
yes.
because I've internally, and I'm doing reading, I guess that's a very ADHD thing, I guess, but to like, you just are kind of like going off of like the feeling right then. You're not really, I don't, there's like a word for it, but I forget what it is.
Sounds impulsive, but I don't know what you're saying.
Highly impulsive, and it's because I assume that, I think in the past, the need to like please was the thing that powered me through things. Like, it gave me energy to like no, like, we told somebody we're going to do this, like, that's what we're going to do, and it like worked for a long time.
I still do that.
And so that was like the treat, is like the feeling of like doing the thing for somebody and like getting the reward back of like how they felt about me or whatever it was. And so my gut still wants that. Like, I still want the treat of like getting the yes back or getting the praise or the whatever it is back. And I'm trying to like stop that feedback loop of just, I could make my own decisions without having to necessarily think about the other person's reaction first. Like, I don't need to consider the blowback of every single move of mine before I do it. And it feels like that has been my inner monologue for most of my life, I think, is like, what is the consequence of anything I could do?
Is it going to be more energy to set a boundary than to just do it? In this moment, I think that's like also part of it. Because we both know, or as you get older and you start to like zoom out, or I don't even know if you get older, as you do personal work and you start to zoom out and see that there are patterns in your life. Like, if you do therapy, let's say you do therapy with someone for like a year, you're going to repeat behaviors. People are going to start seeing, oh, you did this with this person, this with this person. You had a similar comment about your mom 3 months ago, and then you kind of brushed it off, and now we're back here. Like, those kinds, if you have a good therapist, those are the kinds of conversations you're going to be having. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I think it kind of, you asked me earlier, I think this was off camera, you were like, do you have to do it now? I think is kind of, you're like, you don't have to do it now, is kind of what you said. Like, you don't have to do this work now. And it's true, like, I don't have to. Like, I could take a break, or I could choose to work on a different thing. But it kind of feels like when I graduated from college before I went to grad school, and I was like, I just have to do it. Like, I just have to do it now. Like, I could come back to it, and I probably would, to be honest, but kind of why not right now? I'm like, I just feel like I have a little bit of momentum behind like wanting to like search and wanting to know and wanting to dig a little bit. So yeah, I just feel like it's kind of do or die, now or never.
I also feel like just because of like how many friends you have that are therapists now too, like they've been pointing out probably more than me. I think I've been pointing things out like the last couple of weeks, but like they've been pointing out every time you're like people pleasing, or like they're really trying to hold you accountable to that. Does it feel good to be held accountable to it, or does it feel like, ugh, not now?
It's both.
Yeah.
I think I appreciate the honesty, and it settles my nervous system, actually, because I think the thing that I have with a lot of people is not knowing what they're really thinking about me. is like a thought that I have a lot, or like, is that really what they think? Or because I'm a people pleaser, I think I assume and project that other people are people pleasing me, which probably isn't true. And I actually don't necessarily have, like, you're not like that. And two of my other friends aren't really like that at all and are very good about setting boundaries with me, as you are. And so it's actually not at all, if I look at you guys as people, like who you are. But I think I lost your question. Say it again.
I asked if it felt good. Or if it was annoying, basically.
It feels both.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm being held accountable and like I can trust that and I trust these people. And like I'm like, you could have let me get off. Like you could have just like let me like
You could let me rock that one time.
You could have let me rock that one.
That one time. That 10th time. That 20th time.
So, and I think I'm not, but I'm also not used to people doing it in kind ways, I think.
Yeah.
Like with compassion or with being like, hey, I know this about you. And so I want, like, I know you're working on this. And so I want to like point this out to you, or like, we've had these conversations. Like, I just want you to like, remember, like, this is what we talked about earlier, or like something like that. And like, that feels better than being like,
you're fucking up.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Which is okay sometimes, but.
We didn't get to how you're actually doing.
Ugh. I think the thing that you said earlier really just feels like me right now, is I feel stuck / in movement. Like, it feels like I'm just moving very slowly. Like, it feels like I'm like in sludge or something. I don't know. Like, if my therapist had me do like a visualization, she's like, I want you to like really viscerally tell me what this like period of your life feels like. And it feels like mud or like clay or something really thick that I'm trying to like move through. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I know I'm like making headway. Like I can feel myself like things are working. I'm getting movement. Like if I try things in little bits here and here, like I'm like creating a person, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And I also like don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know. I just feel like I'm like throwing shit at the wall kind of sometimes.
Yeah.
So I just feel, in transition, I think.
You were telling me that you were dreading going to therapy this morning.
Yeah, I almost called in sick, Eva. I'm sorry.
But we were talking about this off camera, but I think it's relevant, which is that feeling of like, oh, I'm finally moving. I'm moving through mud, but I'm moving. And like, do I want to risk being like immobilized by an insight, a comment, a thought, or whatever, back to how I was feeling a week ago? Like, it feels tenuous.
Yes.
It shouldn't. That's like a control freak thing. Like, what you would hope is that you would be able to just move through the punches and just be authentic. If something triggers you, then you work through the trigger.
Which I do feel is more of where I'm at now. I don't feel like things are going to wreck me so much. Like, I could have a hard session. I could cry even.
Shout out to Lexapro.
Shout out to being medicated, bro. And I was really trying to, I remember you were like, well, aren't you on medication? I was like, no. And you were like, why not?
I thought you were. That's why I was like, she's really struggling because she's got the meds and she's still. And then when you told me you weren't, I was like, oh, bitch. Not because everybody needs to be medicated, but I just like, you've literally used that med and it worked before. So like, you have the tool in your tool belt, just pull it out.
You're like, please just use it.
I totally get like going on to meds for the first time is an undertaking.
Yes.
But you have something you know works, you out of your fucking mind.
And that was everybody's reaction to me. Justin, Decoya, everybody was like, Justin took my phone and I was like, I could make the appointment for you right now.
No, literally.
And did.
Shout out to Justin.
Shout out to Justin. So, yeah, I'm feeling in transition.
In transit's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I'm waiting. I think
you felt lighter until we started talking about feelings. Like when we took the break, and then I was like, actually, this time I'm really feeling you. Like got somber. Why are you somber?
I think because I'm. Actually, my honest answer is that I like when you open up like that. I think I enjoy when you open up like that, and it's like a moment, and it's not like you're never like that or like you don't open up or even on the pod or anything. But I don't know. I wanted to give you your space, I think, and like hold that. But like it impacted me. I think it just sounded like heavy.
That's sweet.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel held.
Good.
It was like a word hug.
It was a word hug.
Yeah, you hugged me with your words.
I'm glad that was the intention, but I mean it. It was. So I think also it gives me permission to also be emotional, and I think that that is something that my therapist brought up. She's really been on it lately. She's really working for it.
You cracked me up. So today, right before this, we've got dinner. And I literally was losing my mind because she was like, well, I almost can first. Okay, so first of all, when Rachel and I have something like we're both internally we kind of bounce off each other for the first like hour or two because we're like, if you're not going to go there, I'm not going to go there. Like we can just catch up and have fun.
Yes.
But then like somebody breaks eventually. But so we were like doing that kind of bounce off each other. And so I was like, how are you or whatever? And you were like, I mean, I like almost didn't go to therapy today because I don't have anything to talk about. And what?
But y'all should have seen her face.
You didn't have anything to talk about?
The face that she was like, and then I could see her like, she was like, wait, let me like, she was like, yeah, I guess you're maybe at the point where it feels like sometimes you don't have anything. Like she like tried to like
I'm
recover
trying to
on her
regulate.
own.
I'm trying not to be like, you're out of your fucking mind.
And then I was like, not because there is nothing to talk about, but because I did not want to talk about it.
Well, because there's this thing in therapy, so you kind of get out of doing like the hard stuff when you're in crisis because you just get to vent about your crisis. And then when you're stable again, if you have a good therapist, they're like, okay, back to the 5 core issues that are the reason that your life's fucked up. Let's pick one. All right, your mother.
No, that's literally what this bitch did today. She was like, so I remember
your previous romantic relationship.
Your mom literally was like, and I was kind of like, I was irritated
Blown.
for a second.
Yeah.
Because I was like, bitch, you could have let me like rock it. We could have like kikied for like 45 minutes.
You're
like,
out of your mind.
She literally was like straight face.
Yeah, I
Like
bet she
about
was.
business. She was like as soon as I started telling her, oh yeah, I like cleaned my apartment and blah 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 blah. She was like, oh bitch, we're back to the work. Like you're fine. Like
You're literally okay. Great. Let's rip it open.
let's open.
Let's rip it open.
By the end of the session, I was lying horizontally on my bed. Like camera on. Like she was just seeing like you I don't know, like eye up of like the side of my face.
The laptop is facing her on the bed. She's laying on her side.
She can see like my
Tears
fucked up
are
edges.
washing over the keyboard.
She can just hear in the microphone. And then she goes, should we schedule for next week?
Yes, bitch.
Yes, bitch. Actually, for the month. I scheduled out for the month.
Good, because she's busy.
No, she's busy all this. She can never reschedule me if I cancel.
Yes,
As she should. I wouldn't reschedule me either.
I would.
I
Fit
even
me
told her
in. I'm special.
Get me in. She will not. Well, she will. She actually offered me 2 sessions for a while.
I feel like when she knows you're bad, she's like, okay, come on.
No, she is. And she loves me, bro.
Yeah, of course.
She adores me.
I would love having a therapist as a client. A good therapist as a client. You
Yo,
can
I
do
give her
real.
so much.
You get to do real work.
I am dying for a black therapist.
Yeah.
I want a black therapist so badly.
Yeah.
In front of me. I have a black therapist. I would like a black therapist client, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I was like, Eva's not. I'm so confused.
You were
okay.
like, for the past 2 years, I swear to God, she's been black.
I was like, she's white? I'm losing my mind. My therapist is white, but I just like, how did that never come up?
She's actually actually, that's not true. She's the second black therapist I've had.
Yeah, but she's the best one.
She's phenomenal. We love you, Eva.
Love you. I did want to talk about one thing before we hop off since we've just been chilling.
Yeah.
I've noticed a shift in therapy since I started, maybe, I don't even know, maybe the last year and a half, but I was in like the mental health field working as like a psych associate. So I've been in the field for like 5 years and I've noticed that there's been like a significant increase in like people using therapeutic language who've never gone to therapy. And I used to be able to like, when people would use therapeutic language, it used to be like a cue to me that they've done some kind of personal work or they've had like a therapy intervention or they like understand anything about themselves. And I'm realizing that like I can't rely on that in any way. And matter of fact,
no idea what they're
when
talking about.
when kids use therapeutic language, it pretty much never gets me because I'm always just like,
You heard that on TikTok.
You're trying to be smart.
Yeah.
You're making a creepy sock joke.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
But like women get me.
Girl, women get me.
Moms
Actually-
really get me. They use all of the therapy language, and what I mean by that is they talk in ways that sounds like they have a lot of personal insight, empathy, and boundaries. And then I see them interact with their family, and they have no insight, no boundaries, and
are defensive.
are defensive and talk down to the people in their life who don't know therapy words. Like they say mean things and they go, "This is a boundary," and I'm like,
Not really. That's actually a demand.
and because the kid or the partner can't use that language, they're like being dismissed.
They're powerless.
Like, oh, well, you don't communicate as well as me because you don't use therapeutic language, and so
it doesn't count.
it doesn't count. What you're saying is
invalid.
rude or invalid. Have you noticed that?
Yes. I feel like I have that a lot of times with couples, with the wife or female partner will often kind of, I'm hesitating to say weaponize because it doesn't feel on purpose, but it is weaponizing.
I think it's on purpose.
I think it is sometimes because when you check them about it, they look like kind of shocked that you're checking them. Like they thought that they had.
Explain how using therapy language could be weaponizing. Like how could using language, so on the surface, right, like all these therapy terms are supposed to be very person-centered, which means that you're speaking in a way that's like empowering, seeing that person as a full human, not talking down to them. And what I see often is that people will be talking down to somebody and using the word.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you're lacking empathy. And like insinuating that they have empathy and that their partner doesn't. And maybe their partner doesn't really understand what empathy is, but they know you got me fucked up and you're talking down to me.
And it's a way to, I think it gets at people's like moral code. Like when people talk about like, for example, like, you just don't have empathy for me. Like, how would you know that? It's also just like presumptive. And I feel like.
By their behavior,
but
that's how you would know.
That's how you would know. But in a couple, like when I'm thinking of like in a couple session, like interpersonally, yes. But in a couple session, when somebody sits in front of me and over and over again is just really committed, like even if you've like redirected, even if you've done some mirroring, even if you've like whatever, and they're committed to this idea that this person needs help, I think is what I'm trying to say. That there's usually one side that usually thinks that they've done such and such work, or they've read such and such, or they're in a field or something like that.
Like I'm a social worker, or I've read marriage and therapy books,
exactly, or I'm a counselor, or
I'm an educator. Individual therapy.
Exactly. I've done this retreat, whatever it is.
Fucking hate a retreat. Hate a retreat.
And people will often, even though I want to run them someday, but ours will be cool. But
I'll be very clear with everybody that it's a stop in their therapy journey, not like an end.
Yes.
People go to retreats and you leave here rejuvenated and revived.
Like, no, this is a pause. This is just
You're going to leave here gutted and wide open, and you're going to have to go to individual therapy and do your work. That's how you're leaving my retreat.
It's a conduit for going to...
You're leaving my retreat feeling like you have shit to work on.
Yes, like
not
bamboozled.
like you should make more time for yoga.
We want people to feel bamboozled about their life when they leave.
I want you to leave and consider whether or not you really like your husband.
Yes.
And why you don't care that he doesn't pick up the kids. I care. Anyways.
That you're stressed and tired all the time. I care.
But yeah, it just made me think about that because I think that because of TikTok and because of this online culture, and we're contributing to it, I mean, we're not blameless, but I feel like because of that, people feel like they have so much access to therapy. And I think there's a difference between like the mental health culture online and like therapy.
And I think you've said this before, I think on the pod a couple times, that and I find that even when clients are in therapy, it's a different way of orienting yourself to the world and to yourself. And so people that have never done like personal or interpersonal, like concentrated work and are just using the language, that is weaponizing, it feels like, because there's no context for it.
That's exactly it.
There's no context and you have no feeling for the words that you're using. You have no idea.
It's empty.
It's just empty.
You're telling me. And like I think it's empty because you don't have the level of insight that those words
actually mean and like are trying to get at?
Are saying you do. I think they're saying you do. Like, I think that's it. It kind of comes
Yeah.
across as gaslighting, right? Because
Yes.
you're like, I've thought about
it is gaslighting.
I've thought about this concept very in-depthly and I'm very in tune with it, and you aren't, and you're less than. So listen to my side of the story because I know what I'm talking about and you don't. And I'm going to prove it by using the words. I don't even know if I'm articulating it right, but
No,
it's like we're working
people,
against it. It's like they come in and they know more about what I do than what I know because they fucking watch the millennial therapist lives.
I feel like you can also, it's an example of that would also be like, when there was kind of like all that like racial reckoning stuff going on, a lot of like white people specifically, and like there was a lot of rhetoric around like racial language and like things like that. And it kind of feels similarly to me in that people had no idea what they were talking about. They were just using
Words.
Structural racism and in all these terms wrong, and in a way
Like the way
they
critical
didn't
race
understand.
theory got blown out of proportion. It got blown to the ends of the earth.
Ends, like,
people
the
were
worst
thinking
thing.
college level stuff was being taught to elementary
second
school
graders.
kids. Like that's exactly it.
And people believed it.
And then when people were correcting black and brown folks' language because it wasn't racially sensitive.
Nuts.
Oh
My God.
my goodness, I have something to tell you.
Oh my
Okay, we
gosh.
can end on this.
Okay.
I forgot that because we have we're getting 20 minutes, so we're almost done. But
Oh, yeah.
we can end on this. We were in supervision. We had to go around and we had to give people compliments. We had to give one person a compliment. I'm not going to go into any detail because
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble, but I'll say this. The person who gave me the compliment is a white woman, and her compliment to me was how racially sensitive I am. When I say I was clenching my chair, because it was on Zoom,
Rachel, and this is Rachel, is opening her mouth ghastly because what the fuck? And Jermaine looks like a little
I was literally
velociraptor.
like,
What?
and I was just,
And nobody else said anything?
no. And was like, and because like of how you are, how sensitive you are. And she tried to do the whole, you really think about everybody as a whole person at the end, but it was like, nah, you took a dig.
You took a dig, bitch.
The way you talk about clients sometimes
Is terrible.
is ass. I was shook.
She took a dig at you.
I was like, when she called me racially sensitive.
What'd you say? What'd you do? I don't know. I wouldn't know if I would have done shit.
Thanks. Moved on.
Yeah.
I didn't have to give one back. It was like a circle thing.
Good.
But
Did anybody check in with you?
no,
Nobody else probably thought anything was wrong with it.
I don't think so. I don't know.
How did you feel after?
I was like sweating during it. Like I was just irritated, I think. I don't know. But it was,
Because you can't do anything back.
well, no, not that. It just felt like something you say to a white person. Like, how are you?
Yes.
That's like telling a queer person that they're sensitive about queer issues. Like, what are
Yes.
you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You're talking about me when you talk about racial things. You're not talking. I'm not just defending black clients. I'm defending myself.
Right.
Like how is
Right.
there that much of a disconnect?
Right.
It's like
Right.
because you make this choice to engage this way.
I'm not making a choice. It's this or nothing.
It's this or nothing. It's this or inauthentic.
Exactly.
It's this or inauthentic.
It's this or inauthentic. And for her, it's a choice. She gets to opt in or opt out.
I don't sleep. I wouldn't sleep well at night if I like didn't speak up in
Yes.
some of those meetings and
Yes.
settings. Like this is like it doesn't feel like an option.
Yes.
But I just thought it was interesting because I was just like, that's a new microaggression. Like getting a compliment that was actually. I appreciate how uncomfortable you make everybody by keeping race at the forefront of all of our conversations.
Oh, I'm so exhausted.
Right?
That's exhausting.
I was exhausted. Yeah.
In the morning too.
No.
Not in the
End of
morning?
the day. We
Either
do ours at the end
way.
of the day. I was so ready to be done.
And then you were like, "Yep, that's the drop in the bucket. I'm out."
Yeah, it was like a
Peace out.
closing exercise too.
She just had to like try and ruin your day.
I don't even know if she was trying to ruin my day. She was
What a thing to say.
took a dig. It was
Who
just a
says
dig
that? Of all the things.
that she could compliment. Well, she doesn't like me, so I thought it was really funny that she had to do me.
Such a white woman thing to say.
And the leader like didn't let us popcorn. She was like, "Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this." And I was just like,
Did that really come out of your mouth?
no. I just was like, wow. And then there was like a little part of me that gaslit myself and was like, did she not try to be petty?
No, that's petty.
Yeah.
I can see.
But anyways, you know what made me think about that is
What?
that like I think that's the mind fuck of being a therapist, is that you assume that other therapists have a lot of like heavy levels of empathy, and your thing stopped. What I was saying is that I think the reason why I thought about that with the therapeutic language is like the mind fuck of being a therapist is that you like assume that other therapists have like high levels of empathy and like insight and emotional intelligence, and they don't. That's not like something you can assume when you meet a therapist. That's not as, and like, it's not something you can assume. Just like you can't assume if somebody comes in with a diagnosis for themselves that they've even been formally diagnosed. As far as I know, like, I literally, it's to the point where I have to question, like,
That is why when people say stop
the reality
therapizing
of
me or
what's
something,
going on.
like it only pisses them off because they've never been talked to or like held in a way that feels like that.
Yeah.
Like how could like I get it. I do get it. It can be annoying. It's whatever you
Give some
feel, whatever.
context to what you mean by that. We'll end on this.
Often I think people will give feedback. I've gotten this feedback, I don't know about you, but kind of like stop therapizing me or don't use your therapy language or like
Like
just
you're
talk like a
throwing
regular
up,
person.
like you're showing up in the relationship as a therapist, not as Rachel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
That's the feedback you've gotten.
yes, that's the feedback that I've gotten. And I think the thing is that yes, they're two different things, and there's a reason that I went into therapy. There's a reason that it feels like a extension of me. Like I'm me in my sessions. I'm authentic. Like I don't change all of a sudden into like therapist Rachel.
Both of us are therapists because of who we are.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the thing where people will use therapy language, including therapists, like you were saying, and not, and they will, they're just trained. They're a trained therapist. They know how to have an outcome. They know how to
Do an intervention, follow
do an
steps. They know
intervention.
what you
They know
should
how to
say
look
or
for certain
do.
things. They might be a clinically sound therapist, and they're not a therapist that I would want.
You know what else I was thinking when you said that about like
And I wouldn't recommend people to that therapist.
the therapy language and all of the thing. The thing about it too is that when you're asking that of somebody in that way, there's an assumption that you can also provide those things. And oftentimes people are asking like, hey, I need you to set a boundary. You don't know how to set boundaries respectfully. And they've never set a respectful boundary in the entire relationship. They just change their words, but they've been demanding and talking down to them the entire time that they've been together. Or they'll be like, you don't empathize with me, but they haven't even asked their partner how they feel about what's going on. That's where the gaslighting's coming in. With other therapists, I think it's like, I would assume if you're going into this field because you care about other people and you're relational, that you could also be relational with your coworkers. Like these are the kinds of things that you want to be able to assume based on the way people are talking, and it's literally cognitive dissonance.
It's literally cognitive dissonance. And I think they think that because it changes, that they are an empathetic person or that they do provide support in some way. Like it is, I think that they know that there's a switch, but they think that that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
That it's something that you turn on.
it's just not.
And that is weird.
It is if it's not who you are, I guess, if you have to pretend.
If you have to pretend, then you have to pretend.
I mean, I think there are a lot of people who walk around the world passing a significant amount of judgment on other people, and it's probably really hard to turn that off in session. And that probably is a lot of their pretending. Instead of doing the internal work of why am I so judgy? Because that's what's going to sustain you as a therapist. Anyways,
Thanks, y'all.
thanks, y'all. I want a gin and tonic.
Me too. Let's go do one.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye. See you guys in 2 weeks. Maybe on a live, maybe not. Catch us on a podcast. You don't know.
Tune in. Tune in.